Okay, so there are a lot of similarities to this with Stephen King and Firestarter. And I've been thinking it from the beginning when it actually comes to the whole the agency and Amy and the Black Ops and all of it's all Firestarter, and Firestarter is like one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite Stephen King movies. So I've been seeing this from the beginning, and I just hadn't said anything, but it really came through tonight. Uh, let's talk about this.
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want to put my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for The Passage, and this is Season 1, Episode 3. As I said, I am thrust into an updated version of Firestarter, and I am so here for it. I would love to see what Drew Barrymore would actually have to say about just these first 3 episodes, and more so this 3rd episode than anything else. She's always real interesting, but I would love to see what her take would actually be on this. But anyway, let's go ahead and go forward. They get there to the facility, and Amy meets Dr. Sykes. And Dr. Sykes, this is where all of my Firestarter stuff came in. She met Dr. Sykes, and right away, Dr. Sykes made a connection with her. And that's because Amy is in search of a mother's love. And she is a black woman, a pretty black woman, who would be right around the age that Amy's mother was. And she connected with her. She was able to connect with her where nobody else was. And she basically won her over. It didn't take long. Got her in, went ahead. They allowed her to have Brad along with her. Sykes and Brad spoke with each other, and she really softened the blow of what was actually going on. Of course, the monster's in the basement. Nobody's telling anybody anything about it. And I'm like, when he finds out, he is going to fuck you all up, honey. But okay. And for me, Dr. Sykes' character was actually the man with the patch on his eye, who was the demon at the end of everything at Firestarter. I said, oh, you dirty bitch. So we got all this going on. In this episode, we got a good look into the background of Shauna Babcock, which is the blonde-haired girl, and what her connection with Clark is. Clark is Dr. Sykes' boyfriend, head of the Black Ops. When she was actually being brought in by the federal agents onto the grounds, she was actually getting ready to be raped. He was just totally inappropriate, and Clark came and actually stopped it. And he gained her trust upon entry. And the lie, when they said, you know, you're going to wish that you never lied to her. And I always said, what did he lie about? That lie, she asked him before they went in the doors, whatever they're going to do to me in there, is it going to hurt? And he said, not one little bit. And that was a lie. That was a complete lie. He turned her into a monster. And again, it is really vampire. It's the whole vampire thing. Direct sunlight will kill them and the whole 9 yards. I said, okay, all right, cool. So they were having this meeting. And the little guy who witnessed the other guy that cleans up and monitors getting killed, and he seems like he's a little slow. He doesn't seem completely autistic, but just he seems and I don't want to use the wrong verbiage, and I'm saying just a little slow, and I'm not trying to be rude. But I definitely believe that there is some challenges. There's some challenges there. Little like it's like a slight touch of autism. But he was in the meeting and they were questioning him. And they pretty much just hushed him when he started about the nightmares and things. They completely hushed him. There's an Asian doctor there and Clark. And they were all in favor of putting Babcock down. Well, I know the reason that Clark was ready to put her down because she didn't got in his head. And he's just sick of the whole, he's gotten to the point where he's afraid of her. He's afraid of her. And there's mind control going on. He's having the nightmares and all of that. The Asian doctor is literally a mad scientist. He's a mad scientist. He doesn't spend any time with the subject, so he hasn't been really exposed. He doesn't really care. They are literally lab rats to him. And he's like, put her down. You know, it's like a pit bull that bit somebody. It's like, she's had a taste of blood. Put her down. You know, so it's like, I can't wait to see you pay the price at some point. Really interesting. So Amy had a little point where she wasn't really cooperating. And so she told them, I want Brad in here with me, period. And they granted her that. And Brad talked to Dr. Sykes, and she, like I said, gave him the lowdown, but she didn't tell everything. And he told her. He told her and the doctor. It was her, the doctor, and Clark all in the hallway. He told them, if anything happens to her, I'm coming for all three of you. And I was so here for it. I was so here for it. And of course, Clark's like, ooh, whatever. And the other two's kind of looking. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's going to fuck y'all up. So y'all just might as well get ready. So that's that. So in the midst of all of this, Fanning, he's really doing his mind control thing on everybody. And he's telling Shauna, tell him your story. Talking about Clark. So then we start to see her basically. She's working on him. She's working on him. I guess she kind of knows because she's got this mind control. So I think she kind of senses she's going to, they're ready to try to do her, you know, at some point. So she starts working with him and she starts going through her story with him and basically getting him to see all that she's been through. And her life was horrible. She's had a horrible life. She literally was saving money, getting it any way she can. She's saving money. She lives in Vegas. This is back in 2012. She lives in Vegas and she's trying to get out of there. She wants to go to school. She has dreams of going to school in LA. And home life is just terrible. She has a mother who doesn't really like her much and down talks her a lot. Her mother tells her how she's not shit and she ain't going to be shit. There's nothing but dreams and that all she's going to do is screw up that money. Remember that. Then we meet this inappropriate boyfriend her mother has. Completely inappropriate. It's completely inappropriate. And we found out later on, he's literally been raping her from the time she was 8 all the way until she was 16. And then she started, you know, saying, okay, we're not doing this no more. You leave me alone. So all of that's going on. She comes in there one day and her money's gone. And I'm thinking she's got to be about 17, 18 at this point. Her money is gone. And she says, where's my money? And he's all in a good mood. The mother's all in a good mood. And they got their whole little trailer park trash thing going on. And he's like, chill out. And the mother's just acting. You know what I mean? Everybody's just blowing her off. And she's like, I know you took my money. And the mother tells him, go in there and watch your program, and tells her, you need to calm down and go take a walk. Because he told her I needed to do things. He admitted to taking her money. So I had things that I needed to do. So basically the mother and him transpired together. The mother knew about the money. And he went in there and stole the money. The mother's sitting there, and the mother tells her he's a good man. You know, he's a good man. And she says, do you really believe that, Mom? That he's a good man? She said, he's my man. And she told her, she says, he's a rapist. And the mother just is sitting there cutting vegetables and with this butcher knife, and then she's just, you know, zoning out like she ain't hearing her. She's like, are you hearing me? I told you he's a rapist. He's been raping me since I was 8 years old until I was 16. And the mother says, he's a pussycat. If you didn't want it, you could have stopped him. You could have told him no. And Shauna looked at her mother and she says, Mom, are you serious? Or you're telling me you knew? All this time you knew and you didn't protect me? Honey, when I looked around again, baby, she had done took the knife out of her mother's hands, baby, and gutted her like a fish, honey. Like Big Ange used to say. Baby, she gave her, gutted the shit out of her mother, honey, and left her laying there on the floor. And down the hallway, baby, she went, she had business, baby, and she gave him a little taste. And this is how she actually ended up on death row. So that story, that's Shauna's background story. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now, when I tell you this whole piece here, Shauna, that background story and the writing piece of this, please, fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. So it's like, okay, cool. So all of that's going on. She's basically pumped her whole background story into Clark's head. They got her. She was actually in the process. They gave her gas first to knock her out. Then they transported her to another room and actually put her in the cylinder and put direct sunlight. And it was literally burning her. She was in the midst of burning as she's still giving off her story. And as the story unravels to Clark actually stops the execution. I said, oh, you're going to wish that you really did go through with that. But okay. She really got a hold on him. I said, okay. So all of that's going on. Meantime, in between time, we got the little worker guy. He has actually made his way to see who Amy is. He needed to see who Amy is. He's seen her, and he ended up telling Brad, Fanning is coming for her. He's coming for her. And Brad's like, what the hell, who's Fanning? Then she told Brad's just piecing things together. She told Brad she could hear the guy next door talking. His name is Anthony. The name rang a bell. Remember from the list that he was going through. He's one of the people he brought there. They were doing a room check one day, and he ended up seeing Anthony. After seeing him, and Anthony was like, really? Was she on death row too? And he's like, no. He's like, you okay? He's like, no, I feel really good, you know, because he's had the injection. Amy's had the injection. He said, I feel really strong and this, that, and the other, and confident. He said, but I know something's coming. Something is coming. And he says, and you need to be ready. He said, just be focused and be ready. But something's coming. I just can feel it. And in the midst of all of that, he ended up pickpocketing one of the security guards. The little guy ends up, Brad runs into the little guy, gets him, knocks him out one day, and gets his way down to the bottom level. And the whole way, while we see there's somebody watching Brad, we don't know who it is. Here's the doctor. What's his name? Dr. Lear. We see him, he's watching him. He actually follows him down there and tells him, he said, we have 3 minutes before the actual system comes back up. And let me go ahead and explain to you. And he ended up seeing Fanning just really quickly, not long. He saw Fanning and he kind of puts him down with some of what's going on. And just that fast, just in that little bit of time, he goes back up like nothing goes on. He ends up seeing Amy, tells Amy, oh no, everything's okay. You know, she's up there resting and everything. Tells her everything's fine, everything's cool. And he lays down. And when he has his dream, Fanning has gotten into his head and told him, he said, word to the wise, stay out of my way. And he just like, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. But what we also seen in this episode was the wife, the ex-wife, has actually headed off. She had made phone calls, going through the list of names that Lacey had. And she found one lady that would talk. And it was about Shauna Babcock. She said 2 federal agents came here and took her. And I knew something was wrong, but she didn't die here. And she's like, okay. She ended up running into this woman who's, I think she's a lawyer, but her name is Sierra Thompson. And she handed the information off to her and told her they're all 12 mysterious deaths, death row deaths, and they're not dead. They weren't dead. There's something going on. And she checked into it, said, I checked the story. There's a lot of loopholes. She said, I'm going to meet with you tomorrow. So I said, okay. So, and when we saw that, that's when we actually got to see our girl Lacey is not dead, baby. Lacey is in the hotel. The wife and Lacey got away. And they are getting shit together. Her Lacey was sitting there with 900 guns around her, baby. I said, come on with the shit, Lacey. So I was very, very happy. But this is like moving along. And this is where my fear is, where they are knocking out my fear. Because I was ready to shuck it. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, we had 2 episodes. It's good. I'm waiting for the episode where it drags and it starts to do this. Because, see, right now, they have a momentum running like we're watching a movie. Like, the momentum is running like we only got an hour and a half to tell the story. Not like, okay, we got 8-9 weeks to stretch this out. It's still giving me the momentum of an hour and a half movie. And this is what I need to keep me engaged. That's why I love Ryan Murphy so much, because that's how Ryan Murphy keeps you engaged. American Horror Story gives you enough every week that you feel like you're still watching a movie, not that you're watching a TV show that's being stretched out over a long period of time. So the momentum is still going, and I am here for it. The writing on this is absolutely excellent. Absolutely excellent. And I talked to some of my people who were like, excuse me, we want you to do the reviews, but the numbers on the reviews for this show are not where it's, you know, where I should actually even be bothering to continue reviewing this show. It literally, you know, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do these reviews on these scripted shows, and that's why sometimes they fall to the wayside for me, because it's too much work. I can put that work into something else if nobody's watching the video, and that's what's happening here. But I'm hanging on. The numbers aren't racking up for me to keep doing this, but I'm hanging on for whatever reason. So it is what it is. The show is really good, and I still want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Even though there's basically really not anybody listening, but it's definitely a conversation piece. Maybe it'll pick up. The show is really damn good, though. Really damn good. But anyway, all right, you guys. So I'll catch y'all next week. All right, later.